series. My name is Ashwin, co-founder and CEO of CustomFit.ai. As you know, CustomFit is a purpose-built B2B website personalization platform designed from the ground up on the use case and challenges of the B2B marketers. Right? It helps converts the website traffic to quality leads by dynamically changing the website content, CTAs, as per the visitor's characteristics such as the company size, industry, source, a bunch of the things, and also based on the past behaviors and interests. It helps the business to understand what their users want and how their business can help find exactly what they're looking for. Today, we will discuss about blogging, social media, email marketing, webinars, information products, affiliate marketing, and all. How can you increase the revenue, decrease the frustration with your computer, impact more people with less effort? Let's welcome Bob. You know, Bob is currently working with Leadpages as a sales and marketing manager. Let's learn today how you can increase the revenue, decrease the frustration with your computer, and impact the people with less effort. Welcome back. Thank you, Bob, for joining us in this session.
Thank you, Ashwin. It's very good to be here.
Yeah, the same here. Can you please take us through your journey, like how you evolved till this point? That will help our viewers to set the context well and also understand through the transformation. Finally, you reach this stage.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for having me. And I am the sales marketing manager at Leadpages, but I have not always been in that situation. Back in the day after college, I became a high school teacher. So I taught for 10 years as a history teacher in the United States in Maryland and taught world history, world religions, and various other topics. And after about 8 years, I started to want to add additional income, do what is now called a side hustle. We didn't have that term back in 2004, 2005. But I started a side hustle, and eventually that turned into a nice teaching business and business coaching enterprise. I did that for a number of years, for almost 10 years. The thing that I'm really good at is teaching people how to use something that seems complex at first and turn it into something that they rely on an ongoing basis. And along the way, Leadpages was launched in 2012 as a pre-launch. I was customer number 33 buying Leadpages, and then I started teaching other business owners how to use Leadpages for their marketing. And eventually the co-founder and CEO of Leadpages at the time, Clay Collins, he and I went and had breakfast, and he said, we want you to do what you're doing, but under the umbrella of Leadpages. And so I became a part of the team after that discussion. So Leadpages itself was started out as a kind of a dream software platform to help people create websites and landing pages. Actually, at first, just landing pages. And then eventually we added the website builder over time. And so for people that are selling their knowledge, they're selling their expertise or their experience, Leadpages is the perfect fit for getting a website or a landing page up and running quickly, simply, without a lot of the headaches you might typically find. And so for the last 7 years now, almost, I've been doing what I do here: podcast interviews, webinars, and teaching people how to become better marketers and how to use Leadpages in the process.
Makes sense. Yeah, I know Leadpages is one of the great platform, so you can quickly create the landing pages just like that, right? So
Yes.
it's so developed, like, basically the marketer friendly, so that you don't need to hustle between a lot of things. Just get it as simple as possible, right? So basically, when we started CustomFit, Bob, we also came with the same agenda, not creating of the pages. Like, once actually you already have the pages up, how can you personalize it out based on various different interest or different user categories and all? And we built a custom fit around the B2B marketers use cases. I will just share my journey along with like how like we started and all in next couple of the whenever I get something relative to talk. Good.
Excellent.
And also, can you just tell me like one thing, like what is that one marketing metric which you'd love to go for a picnic on a lonely island? If you ask me, mine is conversion rate.
I don't know if I would choose differently. If you don't know how well your pages are performing, and conversion rate is the number one metric to know, then anything else is just extra noise. You need to
Yeah,
know how many people are visiting and turning into a subscriber or buying your product. And so that conversion rate is really important. Now, if we had to bring a second person, then I think I would do like the change. What's the delta of that conversion rate? Are you getting and by that, if is it the numerator or the denominator that's changing? In other words, do you have more traffic coming in than you did last week, or do you have less traffic? Do you have more people converting or less people converting from the previous week? So conversion rate is good, but I'd like to see the difference in conversion rate as well. That also can take the form of a split test, right? So you have version A that looks one way, what's its conversion rate, and what's the conversion rate of version B? What's the delta? What's the change in that? Because that way you can continuously be improving what that conversion rate looks like.
makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So, as a content marketer, right, if you from that angle, if you see, how do you understand that which content works before and after being published?
So the first thing that we look for is questions that our existing
Mhm,
users are asking, or we've
mhm,
developed a persona of who our ideal customer is. We know people that are like that on Instagram or on Facebook, etc. So we're looking for
mhm,
questions that
mhm,
they're asking and the frequency of those questions to help determine what content should we create in the first place. Then we are using data, so we're using Google Analytics, we're using our own platform
mhm,
to see which content does convert to the right amount of traffic. For example, we have a content calendar that we put together that
mhm,
we give away as a lead magnet for people to know over the course of their year what kind of planning should they be doing, and that one is one of our top performing lead magnets for traffic. But we have another thing called a landing page lookbook, which doesn't convert as well on the front end, but the people who sign up to it are more likely to become customers of ours. So we need to be able to not only look at content that performs on one level, how many leads are converting, but also how many leads are
mhm.
converting to a new trial. So we look at all those types of pieces of information, the questions people are asking, and then what's the performance of actual content we produce to then determine which is the way we put more effort into or less.
Makes sense, really. What techniques do you use to draw attention of your prospects and customers for lead
We
pages?
d- Yeah, we use quite a bit of advertising, as you would expect, but we
Mhm,
also have a very good partnership program where we have our users able to share with their world that they're using lead pages, and we have an affiliate program for that. So, about a third or more of our traffic comes from partners saying, "I use lead pages. I want you to know about it too." We do
mhm.
quite a bit of inbound just in general, so we don't do a lot of outbound sales. Most people come to know about lead pages through our social feed, our advertising,
Okay.
or through word of mouth.
Got it, got it. And this partner program is like like affiliates or it's kind of referral partners or any partners with the digital marketing agencies. Like what's
Correct.
the split over here?
Say that one more time.
I know basically the partnership program what you just talked, right? Like basically like how is the split in across the referral partners? Like your customers bringing you more customers, like as a kind of the
Yeah,
product led growth, right? And
yeah.
other thing is like already
Sure. We have
good.
yeah, I think like 75% of our affiliates are active customers, and then we have 10 to 15% are affiliate marketers that may not be customers as of yet, or they use it in addition to other things. And then we do have a lot of agencies as well that are doing it on behalf of their clients. And sometimes they will build the pages and bundle everything in one package, but most of the time the agencies will have their clients buy lead pages through their affiliate link to do so. We also have some software referral partners, so email service providers we're partners with. We drive business back and forth with them,
Got it.
and other software tools we often will do partnerships with too.
Makes sense. Makes sense. How do you set up the feedback loop with your customers? Like, what are some of the best practices which you apply and which gave you good results?
Sure. One is a very active and qualified support team. Our
Mm-hmm.
support team is really knowledgeable. Most of them have been with our company for at least 3 years. And so they're on the front lines answering tickets on the support desk, and they collect that information. We have people on the support team that analyze the questions to see where there are some patterns. What are the most important parts of the product that people are struggling with that we need to fix, either education or make the product better through a user experience perspective. And then we also have a social media channel that's pretty active with a dedicated person plus some support people to help them just pay attention, to what are the responses and engagement on certain posts. Within the courses that I create, we obviously have
Mm-hmm.
that feedback loop as well. And I do a weekly coaching call for our customers. So I am
Oh,
constantly hearing from them, what are they running into? What are they wanting to do? And making sure they know exactly how to do it. Oh, and one more
good.
thing, we do have a product marketing team that does customer interviews. So as they look through the data of somebody who's having particular amount of success with Leadpages, they'll do an interview with them, or somebody
Oh,
who might
oh,
have canceled, they'll see if they'll get on the phone and say, why did you cancel? So they can either win them
mhm.
back, but more importantly, learn, where was there a shortcoming that we can either address or say, we just weren't a great fit for that particular customer.
Makes sense, makes sense. Yeah, that's very important, right? So it's not just about bringing them back onto your lead funnel. It's also understand what made them to book initially, and then okay, what was that a glitch, what they faced because of that thing they canceled the demos. Sure, that makes a lot of
Exactly.
sense. Yeah. What's your take on the community building? Is that part of your marketing mix? How do you design and validate your customer retention and loyalty programs?
Um, Can you ask that for me one more time? The
Yeah, I
the,
mean,
the first
basically,
part I missed.
what's your yeah? Well, one thing is okay. What's the take on your on the community building part? Is that part of your marketing mix?
The accountability piece.
No, like basically you're trying to build a community on the social media thing, like okay,
Oh, the
like no code.
community. Okay,
Correct.
gotcha. Yeah, community is very important for us. We do that right now through Facebook. We're looking at other
Mhm.
tools too to see if it makes sense to have a little bit more closed system, so to speak. But right now, what we see is because everybody's using Facebook, it's just an easier place to
Yeah.
be. And we have a community group that's just for customers. And if you're not a customer, there's a series of questions that gets you to get approval or not. But for the most part, it's about 98% just customers in our community. There are some communities that are, a little bit wider spread, and those are also useful for prospecting. But we want to focus more attention on the people who've actually signed up for Leadpages, making sure that they have their needs met, that they have a place to go to share their pages, their websites, to get feedback, and to share ideas on how to be a better marketer for their companies.
Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah, what actually I understood or what we are trying it out in this era of 2021, right? So, like the community building part is the thing, like it'll build the brand for the next 5 years or next 10 years thing, right? People
Hmm.
will start talking about their problems. People will start, okay, even giving the open feedbacks about your platform or in general, in all these technologies, what has come up, right? Like it's like a no code SEO thing, no code website building part, personalization part, bunch of the things. So basically, you're trying to relate all these guys under the same umbrella and make them, discuss or coexist together with respect to what they are looking at.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, the next question which I want to understand from you is, can you just share with us like what is one successful marketing campaign like till now which you have run and one failure campaign because our viewers they will definitely learn from both the sides.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Let me think on that for a minute. We have both, obviously, so that's good to
Yeah.
to be able to pull from. So one of the most successful that we recently ran is we did a no, I think that's not there. Let's yeah, so yeah, so one of our
Maybe,
most yeah, go ahead.
sure, sure, sure. No, 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 go ahead. No, I thought actually just to, give some instances where actually what we do. But yeah, just go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to narrow it down. So one of my favorite campaigns that we've done is what we call our holiday hustle campaign. So towards the second half of the year, a lot of business owners they want to start planning out what are they going to do for Black Friday, what are they going to do for the end of the year, and they get stuck, making those choices. And so we have a campaign of education that involves both lead generation campaign for our perspective and then education on how will you set up your end of year promotion or your Black Friday sale, which also, by the way, tends to help them during the rest of the year when they want to run a short 3 to 4 day campaign. And so we have that actually in the works right now when we're doing this in the middle of June 2021 for release in September. We're putting all those pieces together, but we've done it in the past. So this is like the third iteration of it. And people absolutely love it because they need this extra support in planning. Our customer base is primarily people who are running their businesses with one or two team members at the most. They have to keep a lot of pieces together, and so we give them the organizational calendar. We have the checklist of what to do when. We have the landing pages and website builder, obviously, to support them along the way of executing their plan. And that turns out to be super good because when they go ahead and do this campaign, they generate a lot more buzz. We teach them how to generate leads in September and October so that they don't have to spend a lot of their advertising budget in November when things are extremely expensive on Facebook and Google because everybody's trying to advertise and they can rely more on their own email lists. So this holiday hustle campaign works out extremely well, very well received, high conversion rates, good conversion to people starting up a trial, etc. So that's one. A campaign that we, yeah. Any comments about that before talking about one that didn't perform as well?
No, 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 that's great. Like basically, like it's very, very targeted to that audience. Okay, well, like you already know, okay, they know these things and all. Targeting them with the right messaging and right kind of the support thing. That definitely one of the game changer that we know even from our experience. True, true.
Yep. Awesome. And then the other one on the other side, things that don't perform very well. It's fun because those that don't perform well. We got to debrief about why it didn't work or whatever. So one thing I would say before I talk about a specific example is a lesson we've learned is sometimes the things that don't perform well because of bad timing. It might be because of bad copywriting or a mismatch between the ad copy and the written copy on the landing page, or the email wasn't sufficient enough. Those are all kinds of things that that can be a big play. So one that I would bring up, it was successful. It was successful in some ways, but not successful in others. So we did a scavenger hunt promotion that was a ton of fun.
Okay.
Scavenger hunt day in the United States is May 24th. So we made this really great
Correct.
scavenger hunt game where it's well designed. People had to go find different things on the website to spell out a word, and then if they spelled the word right, they got a special coupon code to start up their trial. So it was very successful with engagement for those that took us up on it, but it was not as successful in the sense that there were people that didn't go through the steps. There was too much to do the scavenger hunt, right? But for those that did the game, they loved it. We got a lot of good social buzz about it, but we didn't have as many people actually finish the job of submitting their answer. So that's a sort of a poor performing one in that regard. We thought maybe there'd be more people. We thought there might be more people, but but those that did, they're still talking about it on social and writing in about it. So sometimes what's really great or what performs poorly, there's usually some really good wins within it as well.
Makes sense. Even the idea itself is totally catchy thing, right? Okay,
Yeah.
scavenger hunt on the website. Okay, how how you came up with that thing? Did you saw somewhere someone is using what was the genesis of that idea?
So we have, as I mentioned, we have a content calendar that we give away, and that part of that content calendar is one of our members of our team researched what are some weird days of the year that people talk about, like National Hot Dog Day or National
Okay,
this day
okay,
or whatever. And there's a National Scavenger Hunt Day, and so our team started to think about it and like, what could we do
okay.
for a
Apply onto the
scavenger
website.
hunt? And they
Yeah.
thought, hey, let's do it for a website. And then we converted our landing page into a form collector basically for the scavenger hunt for you to basically you had to spell out a word. Each clue gave you a letter. And then once you had all four letters, you had to rearrange it into a word. Okay. And then submit that to get
Yeah.
it, to get the deal. And then, I don't know, it just was a combination of some very creative people that work at Lead Pages after looking at our calendar and thinking, what could we do for one of these days? And scavenger hunt was one that came up.
Great, great. Yeah, basically these kind of the marketing hacks will, instantly get you into a good, like it's not just for that day. Even people will start talking about even if when it gets over and over, right? Like basically, so
Yeah,
they want to see these things. Sure, sure.
exactly. And the
Uh,
next time we do it, I'm sure we'll have a lot better success. We learned a lot from it, and like I said, it was successful in a lot of ways, and it could certainly be better in other ways.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. Right. So, and the next thing, can you just throw us light more about the customer retention part? Because that's one of the biggest, if you talk any SaaS providers, okay, the churn is the biggest zombie sitting over there, right? So, like,
Yeah.
what's your technique to avoid, or what kind of the, like how you deal with that customer retention, or how you cope with the churn, or how you bring back the customers?
Sure. So first and foremost, it starts with a great product that people love and find easy to use
Mm.
and that actually is effective. So number one is that product has to be a reason for people to stick around. The second is the support of that product by people, by human beings, not just a knowledge base of help articles, but actually people who are able to respond quickly to the challenges that people might have so that they are getting their problems addressed quickly and they don't have the need to leave. And the third thing I think is values as a company. We are very keen on making sure people understand the value that they bring to the table and the value that we appreciate in the world. And so,
Mm.
in some respects, landing pages, website builders, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of competition, and the customers that we're keeping also see our vision of the world and are compatible with that. Now, from a technical perspective, we are also looking at how many people do churn out on a given month, and we pay attention to the changes from month to month. We try to identify what some of the patterns may be that are coming up. We use software tools to see what people are doing inside of our software at any particular time. So we're able to see, I don't know if you've heard the term rage clicks before when it comes to, software experience, but we look at, where are people going and getting frustrated?
Yeah,
How is their
yeah.
mouse movements indicating that? So we look at that technically. We have people on the team that are analyzing that kind of information. And then we're also taking a look at things like Trustpilot and other customer review sites, responding to them as well, obviously, but just seeing like when people do churn or when people leave, are they leaving reviews? Are they answering our exit interview question of why they stopped? And then we're addressing those problems if we feel that they're problems. As I mentioned before, sometimes it's just not the right fit for that customer. You're going to have churn in a software company. There might be a mismatch with the person's needs and what you're delivering. But for the most part, we just have a great product. We make sure it's well supported. We make changes when we feel like it's in the best value for the entire customer base, and then see the growth from there. But we're always listening, and I think that's an important part of any company. If you're listening and you're responding, people are going to stick around longer. And if you are flippant and arrogant in response to people, they're going to leave and they're going to blast you on social media, and then you're going to lose a lot more people. So there's a lot of things to think about.
Exactly. Even that can result in a chain reaction, right? Okay, one thing can lead to another thing. One bad thing can lead to another bad thing over there. Once people start bad mouthing you in the social media thing, right? So even
Exactly.
like you may be good at one part, but even that part will also miss out. Yeah, right. Sure. What are the factors, indicate indicate that your customers are attracted to do more business with you or prefer a competitor?
So one is how much are they using the product? So how often are they logging in? How many pages are they creating? How many leads are they getting? How many sales are they getting? If we're able to see people, constantly have growth within their accounts, then we know that they're going to be more likely to stick around. If we start to see somebody hasn't logged in 2 weeks,
Mhm.
then we have kind of an indicator that says, hey, we need to make sure this person isn't stuck or isn't feeling like they're not getting value from the product. We do have people who've stayed with us for 7 years and haven't logged in a ton because they have set up their landing pages and website and they're running like clockwork. They might check in every month or so once they have that up and running. But we are looking at those types of things. How often are they logging in? What's the success rate? What's the publishing rate? And even the support tickets. How many support tickets are they logging?
Mhm.
And if they are bunched together or are they, spaced out. And
Yeah.
then finally, we're looking at open rates. Are they opening our emails uh,
Mhm.
on a consistent basis, or are they, going, 30 days without opening one of our messages? Those are also things that we like to pay attention to.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's really great. Like in your content plan and strategy, right, how do you include personalization and how far is it successful, useful till now?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways. One is we do look at what people have downloaded from
Mhm.
the past. So if we have a lead
Mhm.
magnet about a certain topic and we can see that they are a coach or a consultant,
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
their email campaign that they get from our automation is going to steer them towards more language or offers or template bundles or whatever that are specific to them. We do like to use split testing as well to help determine, which message is going to resonate with which audience. And then we do like to, if we have a record of the person um, when they come to the website, we do like to dynamically show different content um, to them. We don't have that deployed as much as we'd like to, which is great that we're having conversation with you, obviously. Um, but generally, it's an important thing in the next few years. If you're not having personalization on the page without flicker, without delay,
Yeah.
and all those types of things, you're going to be missing out on some conversions. So because otherwise you have to talk too much to a too general of an audience, and if you're not speaking more specifically to people um, about what their needs are, you miss out.
Yeah, that's true. Like basically, what we say is your website is your the number one marketer. Your website is your number one salesperson, right? So no one can sell or market better than your website because it knows a lot of things, right? What if you like if you see our quote over there, we say your websites are they are not dumb, but they are like basically thinking other ways. Like they are not deaf, but they are dumb because they are listening all these things what your visitors are telling, like who they are, who sent him onto the website, what they were doing, what they want, what they're looking for, what company they work for, hundreds of the things. But since the website is like dumb, it's not able to express or it's not able to talk to your visitors, right? So that's the whole point. And other important what we deal with is it's not like it's all about even before personalization, right? It's very important, as you know, as a content marketer, understanding of the visitors. Like today, if I ask you, like what's the importance of, like in sense, okay, how well, how well it will be helpful to you if you are able to understand what's happening on the website. Like you just talked about a bunch of the different tools about how people are using your platform or how people are going on your website and all. Right, for example, like you mentioned about the click analysis or the recording of the videos and all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like in that same way, how do you think understanding the behavior of the visitors, in sense like how they started behaving on the first visit, second visits, and all those things. Understanding of them, do you think it will lead to a cleaner, it will able to check what is happening on the website, or do you think will it able to understand how can you help them out what they are looking for?
Yeah, it's very important, right? Because you, without that kind of information, you have a static message, right?
Mhm.
And a static message can convert, but it doesn't convert as well as a more tailored message based on what they have experienced. So you're absolutely right. A person who's coming to the website for the very first time needs different information than someone who's been there 4 times. Somebody has visited the product page and they've already read through what your product is about, doesn't need to keep getting hit with watch a demo, as a pop-up, for
Okay.
examot.
Correct. Correct.
Someone who's been
Correct.
on the pricing page, they can have just what we're getting ready to deploy is a chatbot that only shows up after you have been on certain pages of the site. But until then, there's no real reason for you to have a chatbot in your face right away the very first time you visit the site, right? Because
Correct.
it can come
Correct.
across as super aggressive. But if you've clicked through 2 or 3 times and you visited a certain page or two, a chatbot that can come up and specifically say, do you have a question about pricing? What features are you looking for if you visited the product page? Those are types of things that is becoming more and more available to more and more businesses and should be utilized, because otherwise, like I said, the static page just doesn't give the right information at the right time, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, very true. Right. So yeah, whatever you said is very in line. Now, can you tell me in your marketing stack how ABM sits over there? Like, what's the importance you guys are giving to ABM? Whenever you are trying to reach out these bigger ones.
For account-based marketing, is that what you're talking about?
Correct. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we do most of our work in marketing within an inbound kind of
Okay.
process. We don't do a lot of external sales kind of rationale for that, because we have a very good self-service model for our
Got it.
company. So it's more about the type of business that they have, and then making sure that they receive both the educational content, the support that they need, and so on. ABM is not as prevalent for us as it may be for some other companies.
Understand. Understand. So now, paid or organic? What's your favorite?
One more time.
Paid marketing or organic marketing? Which is your
Oh,
favorite one?
um, obviously both, but as far as the favorite goes, um, nothing beats the ability to test and scale
Uh-huh.
campaigns with paid marketing.
Okay.
Organic is
Okay.
great because it's more relationship, it's a little bit more connected to people, but it does take
Mm-hmm.
time. Unless you are really lucky sometimes to get something that spins up quickly and goes viral. But with paid marketing, you see exactly what is happening, and you can, push this lever, dial back this thing, and you can see the results right away. You don't have to take a guess as to why something is working. So I think if I had to choose between the two, and I was trying to grow faster, paid marketing is there. But the reason it's both is because without the organic, you don't have the long-term business. Without the organic, you don't have the interaction with the community and with the humans that are actually using your products to help you make your product better. With paid advertising, you're able to grow on the top line, right? You're able to see more traffic, you're able to see more conversions, but the organic is what builds the brand, right? It's what builds the feeling and the vibe of what your company really does for its customer base, which means word of mouth marketing gets better, which means churn goes lower, retention goes higher. All those things are good. So you really do need both. But that's the answer I can give for you.
Yeah, that's really very, very insightful over there. Can you tell me one thing think in a way that what do you think the most effective way to increase the brand's online presence?
Um, which is the way to increase a brand's online presence?
Correct. Yeah.
So to increase the brand online presence, you have to be where your ideal customers are, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to speak to them in a way that is two-way, bi-directional. So, websites are great because they give the information, but if you don't add on to that the social community and the interaction within your support desk, all the things, it doesn't really matter. So, I also think it's important to make sure that there's consistency in that online presence. So, if you have a certain way that you communicate, keep it the same on Instagram and on Facebook. And obviously, the vibe is a little different for each social channel,
Correct. Correct. Exactly.
LinkedIn, etc. But for the most part, if you're a jerk in one spot and then you try to play nice guy on the other side, people are on all the platforms. They're going to be confused. So try to have the same kind of consistent messaging and way of looking at the world on all those channels.
Yeah, that's really very well said. How do you ensure the ROI on your marketing campaigns to be optimal?
One is we do split testing to make sure our top line conversions and bottom of our funnel conversion rates are very good. We're paying attention to our initial ad spend and initial return on ad spend, but then we're also looking at after 7 days, after 30 days, after 90 days from when someone becomes a lead, when do they buy? And so we're not, just automatically rejecting a result because it didn't perform within 24 hours. Sometimes a campaign takes a little longer. So we're both short-term and long-term evaluating the success of any particular campaign. But we have dashboards, we have spreadsheets, and we have people looking at certain things. We meet once a week to talk about particular areas and metrics of our business. We meet every 2 weeks to talk more holistically about the health of our company's marketing. We meet once a month as a company to, bring the other team members in to see like what's coming up next and so forth. But
Got it.
the main thing is we're just paying attention to the data. I think a
Got
lot of
it.
companies don't grow in part because they're not paying attention to the data, or the data they're paying
Exactly.
attention to is not relevant for decision making, um, or they have the wrong stakeholders making decisions in their companies. So,
Yeah,
you already talked about conversion rate, but there's a lot of other metrics that are important to your business. You want to keep a tab on that and make sure that the right people
exactly.
see that
Exactly.
information.
Yeah, that's very true. I have just final two questions about one thing is who is your mentor? Like, do you have any mentors in this marketing world whom you look up to, or any persons whom you follow very closely, their talks or their books? Where,
Yeah.
our audience will definitely get something very interesting from that point.
Yeah, there's so many. Me personally, I learned a lot from a gentleman named Adam Urbanski in the United States. He's a business mentor and coach. Taught me a lot about some aspects of business that are important. From a little bit more known perspective, Robert Cialdini has a book from the
Mhm.
1980s called Influence, The
Okay.
Psychology of Persuasion. It's a very well-known book, and I have it actually on my shelf here. You can see this is his work.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
and it talks a lot about the psychology of marketing. He actually wrote it as a warning to customers of like what to look out for, but it's also a good book for marketers to know how things work for making buying decisions. And then the third person I'd say is Seth
Uh-huh.
Godin. Seth
Okay.
Godin is a very important marketer for permission-based marketing. I have one of his
Yeah,
books
yeah.
up here too.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
also very, follower of Seth Godin. So
yeah.
I listen
Um,
to like his audiobooks and all. Yes.
Yeah, and actually, one more person I would say, Nancy Marmolejo, is a friend of mine, great mentor as well. And she was one of the first people to teach me about something that she calls a deep genius
Uh-huh.
that everybody has. Like, as a business owner, as a performing person or whatever, when you can tap into that deep genius of yours, of where you're really good at, and turn it into a business, it works super well. And for most of Leadpages customers, we work within what we would call being a knowledge broker, meaning what's in your brain is what's for sale, right? Either what you're doing, what your experience, et cetera. And so Nancy taught me a lot about how to know how to tap into what that is for you individually, but also for me as an educator, how can I help other people find that too?
Got it, got it. Yeah, that's really great. Thanks for sharing that. And final question is like any advice to fellow marketers to become a great marketer like you?
Thank you. So one is I have a philosophy for business, which is take action and revise later, meaning don't let procrastination hold you back from
Mm,
moving forward in
mm,
your business. Whenever you have an idea, whether you got an aha from this conversation or you have another podcast episode you're listening to or a book, you have to take action on it and you have to put it out into the world with real people seeing it.
mm,
And then the
mm,
revise
mm.
later, meaning pay attention to the feedback loop, pay attention to what
Correct,
worked,
correct,
and then
correct.
revise it, keep changing it, keep modifying it to go along the way. Nobody is going to benefit from your product or service if you wait for it to be perfect. If you wait for it to be the perfect time or the perfect set of features or whatever, that's really going to kill any business. So take action on what you
Correct.
know, and then revise later.
Oh, I mean, this will go as a title for this episode. So this is so catchy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it is
this
a book
is.
as well.
Oh, no, this is definitely one of the great advice. Like, like I will ask my team, this has to be the subject, the title for this episode, because that makes a lot of sense, right? Like a lot of, like even if you consider many people, they just go with the idea, they stuck over there. Okay, they don't experiment it out. If you don't experiment, or if you don't just like what you said, if you don't go and showcase in front of the people, it'll be just in the books, or it'll just in your brain, or it'll be on your whiteboard, right? It's
Yeah,
always
it
better
doesn't
to
help
go and
anybody.
execute. Correct, correct. Exactly, exactly. True, true. Yeah, thanks a lot, Bob. With this, let me wind up this episode. Hi, viewers. Hopefully, you got a lot to learn from Bob. Like we will publish this video series and also a story out of it. It will come. We'll get the notification when it goes live. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.